The horns of Nimon. Yeah, I do a lot of reviews of old Star Trek, and every now and then you come upon an episode that gets mocked as being one of the weakest ones. Famously, that tends to be Spock's brain, and I defended it. I think it's still a fun episode, despite the silliness. And the other one with the children shall lead, with, because Melvin Belli was in it and all that type of stuff. And that one, yeah, Spock's brain, I think, is better than that one, leaps and bounds. But for Doctor Who, Horns of Nimon is one that keeps coming up, that people ridicule it and whatnot. But in a lot of ways, it's, I don't mind it as much. It's another Doctor Who episode. And, there was always these freaky looking monsters in Doctor Who and stuff, and the way they would walk about and pose. And, the Nimon here, it's no different. And his platform shoes and everything. It borrows from, the Minotaur and the maze and all that sort of, the labyrinth and all that stuff. And it plays up on the whole idea of myth, as there's this guy who's supposed to be the hero who's going to destroy the Nimon, and in a roundabout way he does. But he's made up a story, and he says it adds to the idea that a myth is based on some amount of truth, and then it just gets more and more exaggerated to where it's totally unrecognizable from the actual event. But so it plays on that. So there's some clever things in here about the nature of myth and whatnot. But, it's like, so the main, I guess, villain, if you will, besides the Nimon himself, is this guy named Saldid, and his his outfit. And he looks a lot like the outfit that Jonathan Pryce wears in that Doctor Who parody of The Curse of the Fatal Death. And that's kind of what he is. But I don't care. I think it works, and it's all like he's this fraud. And doesn't seem to realize he's being taken by a con man in the form of the Nimon. And all that stuff. So there's a lot to enjoy in it. So basically the Doctor's screwing around with the TARDIS, so it's kind of down for the count with repairs and whatnot. And then, oh no, they find themselves going into a black hole, and there's this spaceship in there. And that's a ship carrying these young people who are going to be sacrificed to the Nimon for the former Skanan Empire, who used to be this great space empire, but they've fallen on hard times. And then here comes the Nimon saying, "Hey, give me sacrifices and those young people with some these special crystals, and I'll restore you to the great empire again." And like, oh, cool! They just buy this hook, line, and sinker. And so there's this planet called Aneth that they keep abusing. I guess they're even worse off than the Skarnans are. So they're able to just take these people and sacrifice them to their new god, the Nimon. Well, turns out the Nimon is not the only Nimon. We never do learn his name because there's a bunch of other Nimons. And the deal is that he needed these crystals to set up the power in order to transport his bros from another planet through the black hole. So the black hole is basically what we now refer to as a wormhole, is what they've managed to do here. And he's going to transport them over to Skanos. I guess Skanos, yeah, I think it's Skanos. And from this other planet, and lo and behold, Romana accidentally gets transported over to this other planet. And it's the same situation. There's another labyrinth there, and she's wandering around through it. And there's this dude with the same staff that Saldid has. And he's like, oh, man, I thought these guys were going to help us, but they just wiped us all out. And that's what they do. It's kind of like what in Independence Day when they found out what the aliens were about. It's like a race of locusts who go from one planet to the next, and they drain all its resources and what, and then they move on to the next one. And they pull the same con on them. Hey, it works. So that's pretty much the whole plot for that. And of course, you have the Doctor and Romana got to fix all this. And so there's other elements here, like a lot of it, especially with Lala Ward's Romana. You get a lot of this showing that, well, she is the female doctor, you know, because she tends to dress like the doctor in some scenes, some ways. And this time she's got, you know, her own coat and everything. And then also she decides to develop her own sonic screwdriver. I always thought like the sonic screwdriver should have just been a Gallifreyan thing, you know, like they just have those around. And so the doctor, of course, had one, and of course knows how to make one and improve on it and stuff. But you know, so basically, it's, you know, it's a sonic screwdriver. It can move things with sonic waves. It can open doors and stuff. Long before it became the magic wand that it is today. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so that, you know, that's cool aspects of it. K9 still suffering from what the laryngitis did to him, so his voice is still strange. But he comes in handy here and there. So you know, you can laugh at it in some aspects about the sets and props and whatnot, but I'm like, well, even the best of Doctor Who is like that. I just don't see that it's that big of a deal. I don't know. Maybe it's Saul Deed. I don't know what it is. I just like the Nimon is funny looking. Well, so are the Zygons. I mean, I don't know. But you know, and then you got Tom Baker, so of course I think it's an okay episode. It's not the best, obviously, but you know, I had fun watching it and revisiting it again. Yeah, some of the effects, you know, I mean, it's odd, like when they do the black hole scenes, it's just, you know, it's all a black background and the little toy ships flying through it, and yet more times than not, that's probably what space would look like. Even when you're not in a black hole. Now, could they really get out of the black hole? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's supposed to be this derelict ship. It's old and stuff because the, you know, Skanos is on hard times. They can't build new ships anymore, so they're kind of using a crappy old one. And yet, it's, well, with the help of the Doctor and Romana, it's able to escape the black hole and all that. And then the other idea is the TARDIS, it actually collides with a planet. And so, okay, maybe that force, it provided you could get in the right position, and it just happens to do so, and it's able to escape it. I don't know, but well, there you go. So it's a fine episode, I think, in a lot of ways, and it you know, it touches on some interesting things when you look for it. It kind of falls apart towards the end, and this is some things that happen in Who, where they just sort of slap on an ending, and then because after they escape and the Nimon's complex gets destroyed, and they say, oh, we all got to get out of here, and then the next thing you see is well, the Doctor and Romana are back on the TARDIS and he's working on it again, and it's like, well, wait, what happened to everybody? He says, oh, they're on the ship and they're fine, so they show the footage of the ship leaving, and you know, it's just it's a bit of a slap job tacked on thing, but yeah, well, what are you gonna do? So yeah, if you got one of his major flaws, I guess that would be one. But and then I guess the costumes look silly, especially the guy who was supposed to be the head of the military. He was that was a little flamboyant. Fortunately, it's all in black, so it doesn't show up as much. But he's got so many things stuck on his helmet. It's like, what? I mean, it seems like his peripheral vision would be ruined. And wouldn't that be annoying? But I guess it's all just for decoration at the moment, since they're in such bad shape. He probably doesn't have much of a military to command anyway. So there you go. Now, as it goes, this is the final episode of the second to last season for Tom Baker here. There was supposed to be one more episode, but well, it never got finished, and the production was shut down and all that. And that being shut down, well, since then, we now have it's been pretty much completed with the help of animation. So yes, I will cover that one next, and I think I'll take a little break where I'll cover some of the other animated shows of Doctor Who, because I bought the collection that has Shut-Eye in it, and some of the others. We'll do some of that, and then we will finish off the final season of the Fourth Doctor. You know, Tom Baker casts a very long shadow over Doctor Who, and so in a lot of ways, Doctor Who was never the same again after that, and kind of struggled for his departure, and then, of course, the New Who restored all the greatness of Doctor Who, and then you got David Tennant, who became the most popular of the New Who, and drove it to new heights. And then, well, maybe it's like you get a big hit with a Doctor, and then once they leave, it's like you struggle to recover from it. Although I would say Matt Smith did a good job of holding it together during it, but it's not people say, well, the decline began under Capaldi. Well, there was some slipping under Matt Smith, but the peak was the 50th anniversary show, which was very popular. But well, that's another story for another time. Anyway, on to Shada. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.